Welcome. I'd like to call this October 12th, 2015 meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education to order. And we're happy that you are with us this evening. And hope everybody had a great Columbus Day. Probably some of you didn't realize that until you come to the realization you didn't get mail today. But anyway, we're glad you're here with us this evening. At this time, I'd like to call on the Vice Chairman of the Board of Education to do our invocation for the board.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we live in a county that places an emphasis on our children and their education. We as a Board of Education take our position very seriously, making decisions that affect over 12,000 students. Please be with each student, helping them to make good decisions and good choices, and be with each teacher as they teach our children with love and passion. We ask for safety from our bus drivers and guidance from our administrators. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Knight. Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to call on Brian Barnes. He is a history and government and economics teacher, and I've known him a long time. He's High Brighton High School. If everyone will please stand.
I do need to mention a quick history lesson. On this date, October 12, 1892 was the first time the pledge was recited by school students to commemorate the 400th anniversary of Columbus's discovery. So we're doing this on a historic day. The original pledge had certain parts missing that were added to in the early 1900s and in 1954. So the pledge we're stating today has been around since 1954. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barnes. We appreciate you being here, and just like a history teacher, giving us a good history lesson, and we appreciate that as well. And we're happy that you brought your granddaughter with you tonight.
Who is now hiding.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, which the board has had an opportunity to review. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as has been presented?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next, on September the 14th, 2015, we had our regular session here at the Education Center, and we need to approve the minutes of that meeting. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of our September 14th meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes from the September 14th, 2015 regular session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next item on the agenda is public comment, and as of 4:30 this afternoon, we had not received anyone who wanted to do any public comments, so we're going to move on. At this point, we're going to move down, the board's going to move down, and I have a couple things I want to mention from the podium there, and then I'm going to turn it over to Libby Brown to finish out our honors and recognitions. The National Association of Secondary Principals and the National Association of Elementary School Principals have declared the month of October 2015 as National Principals Month. We support this effort and wish to recognize all North Carolina principals for the essential job and role that they play in leading schools and communities in the state and in our county. Principals are among the hardest working, yet often least recognized individuals in education. Principals set the academic tone for their schools, and it is their vision, dedication, and determination that provides the mobilizing force for achieving student success. The Caldwell County Board of Education would like to show that our administrators are indeed appreciated, and that we want to also recognize them for the great job that they do every day, not just during the month of October. Leanne Fry, who serves as the president of the Principal and Assistant Principals Association, is here with us tonight, and I would like to recognize her to come and accept our gratitude on behalf of the administrators in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Pennell. Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, first of all, we just wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you. Thank you not just for recognizing us, but thank you for what you do each and every day, because you are the role models that we look to for guidance and support. So with that, thank you again. CC Papa, which is Caldwell County Principals and Assistant Principals, is the local branch of the North Carolina Principals and Assistant Principals. We meet each month to talk about ideas, suggestions for improvement for ourselves and for our schools, and just to collaborate with each other, because that's an important time that we need to spend with each other. Not only do we meet each month, but we do have officers, and all of our officers are here tonight, so I'd like to just take a brief moment and recognize them, if you don't mind. Chad Smith, if you're here, Chad. Chad serves as our vice president. He also is over our over our advocacy chair. Charmin Frizzell, Miss Frizzell, if you'll stand. Miss Frizzell is our secretary, and she is over our policy committee. Also, our treasurer, Courtney Wright. She also serves as our culture and social chair. And then we did add an extra position this year, and that would be assistant principal representation. Because we do serve principals and assistant principals, it's important that each of those have some level of representation. So Miss Julie Hall, who's an assistant principal at South Caldwell, was voted by her peers to be the assistant principal representative. Each of our officers serves as a chair for a group within our committee. That gives each of us an opportunity to use our strengths and talents in a way that may drive to meet our goals and missions of our organization. So thank you for taking the time to recognize us. Your kind words and actions always come at a wonderful time, because there are great days and then there are some days that are tough days. But knowing that we have the support with our board, the support at the Education Center, and most definitely the support and seeing the happy faces of our kids, that's what makes it worth it each and every day. And I would just really like to leave you with one quote. I know we like quotes around here. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. And that's not just with adults, but that's with children too. It's never about the role, it's always about the goal. And when you put us all together, that's what makes us a community, and that's what makes us so great. So thank you for your part in our team. I'd also like to recognize if there are any other principals and assistant principals with us. Do you want them to join?
Please stand.
Please stand.
For you, and please join us.
We would also, Leanne, like for you to convey our appreciation and support to the principals and the assistant principals at your next meeting as well. So we do truly appreciate what they do in our school system. Also, October is National Anti-Bullying Month. Certainly not Bullying Month. This Board of Education is very much opposed to any type of bullying, and we want to try to stamp out bullying of any sort. So the month of October is Anti-Bullying Month. So keep that in mind as well. Also, I would like to make a comment. Dottie Darcy, over the weekend, in the Loving Lenore celebration this past weekend, she won a service award, and we wanted to recognize Dottie for that. So, thank you, Dottie. At this time, I want to turn it over to Mrs. Libby Brown to do the remaining portion of our recognitions and our honors.
Thank you, Chairman Pennell, board members, and Dr. Stone. I know that when superintendents come to this area, since I've been in the job, one remark they've always made is the people in Caldwell County are some of the most hardest working people they've ever been around. And all of our principals in Caldwell County model that work ethic of hard work and dedication. So we're very proud to have them as part of our school district. It's great to be here. We have art students again in the month of October, and they have been selected by their teachers, their art teachers at the school level, to be on display at the Education Center for the whole month of October and for the first part of November. So we're very proud of our little artists and our big artists in the Caldwell County schools, and we'd like to recognize you now. So as I call your name, please come forward and you will get a medallion and a certificate of appreciation from the Board of Education. We're going to start with Davenport A+ School, and Kelly Smith is the principal and Dabney Smith is the art teacher. And we're going to start with Nazir Horton. First, Nazir. Okay, Nazir Horton. Thank you for that. Nazir Horton, first grade. Riley Ritchie, first grade. And Celia Roberts, first grade. Oh, good group from Davenport A+ School. We're going to do another elementary school from Dudley Shoals Elementary School, and Gwen Roop is the principal. Alexis Buchanan is the art teacher. Lily Googe, second grade. Hey. And Jeremiah Meadows, fifth grade. Jeremiah? Okay. All right, Jeremiah. And Amber Schlachter, fourth grade. And Amber's here. So very pretty. Everyone's so nicely dressed. Okay, so let's take a break, parents, so you can all get photographs.
You can move here in the middle.
Yes.
We'll keep smiling as long as you're flashing. Shake everybody's hand, and then we're going to slide everything. Come on down here, buddy. All right, and now if everybody will hold your certificate kind of right, not in front of your face, but about right here, and then you look at the cameras, and we have to keep smiling until everyone is through, okay? Smile, everybody, smile.
And look at this camera too. Josh, did you get the
All right, you gotta keep smiling, John. All right, still don't have camera.
Great job.
One more over there.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Okay, we have more students in the Education Center Art Gallery from West Lenore Elementary. Amy Lohman, principal, is here this evening, and Melissa Jarzewski is also the art teacher, and she is here with us this evening. Philip Horton is a kindergarten student. Is Philip here? Don't see him. Okay. Lucy Manuel, fifth grader. Chastity Rousseau. Okay, Lucy's here. Fifth grader. We also have another fifth grader from West Lenore, Chastity Rousseau. Okay. So we do have Lucy here this evening from West Lenore. We also have Whitnell Elementary School. Andy Berry is principal, and David Hefner is the art teacher. Shatwan Chapman, 5th grader. Donovan Everhart, 3rd grader. And Gracie Winkler, 2nd grader. Gracie? Okay, let's do our middle school. Gamewell Middle School, and Anna Crook is here, the new principal at Gamewell Middle School. Janet Roman is the art teacher, and they have one student's artwork in the art gallery. Jacob Triplett. So Jacob, 8th grader. And we have one high school student from West Caldwell High School, and I know Mr. Poole is here, Andy Poole. Kevin Avey is the art teacher, and the student is Holly Deals. Holly, is Mr. Poole? Good, Holly's here. She's a junior at West Caldwell High School. So if you want to get in center here, now it's photo time.
All right. Come on down this way a little bit and space now. All right. Whichever gets in front of you and stop.
Thank you, students, for your beautiful artwork, and you've had a chance to see those up here on both of these screens as well. So thank you very much. And parents, please come back and enjoy their artwork for the rest of the month. Now we're going to turn our attention to Melissa Wyatt. And Melissa is a 5th grade teacher at Gamewell Elementary School. She is the winner of the North Carolina Council of Teachers of Mathematics Outstanding Elementary Mathematics Award. And Melissa has taught at every grade level, and during her 17 years of experience in the classroom, she has had ample opportunity to teach math. That's been her primary focus at Gamewell Elementary since 2007, and Mrs. White will receive statewide recognition at the North Carolina Council of Teachers of Mathematics Convention at the Corey Convention Center in Greensboro next month. So it is our honor and privilege to recognize her first right here in Caldwell County School for the Elementary Mathematics Teacher of the Year.
Melissa, if you'll kind of make us look good in the middle there. Sure.
Melissa, you have your family with you tonight. Would you like to introduce your family?
This is my husband Gary, and my son over here Brandon. Goes to West Caldwell, he's a freshman this year, and then my daughter Sarah goes to Gamewell, she's in 4th grade this year.
Yes, that's very nice to have you all with us. Then our final honor for this evening is Miss Phyllis Atwood, Exceptional Children's Teacher at Sawmills Elementary School. She has been selected as the Caldwell County Exceptional Children's Teacher of Excellence. In her 4th year at Sawmills, she started with the Caldwell County Schools as a wraparound director at Baton Elementary School in 1991. Then in 1993, she became an Exceptional Children's Instructional Assistant. After her daughter completed high school, Phyllis returned to school. She completed her bachelor's in education at Appalachian State University, graduating in 2009 with honors. She has been nominated by her principal, and she has also been nominated for this honor at the district level. Ms. Atwood will be recognized statewide at the Exceptional Children's Conference in Greensboro in November. So we're very proud of her journey in education, and she's very deserving of this award. So, Ms. Phyllis, do you have someone with you this evening?
My wonderful husband.
Thank you.
And our wonderful principal.
Yes. And your wonderful EC assistant director, Pam Holt.
But you're my friend for half of eternity.
Yes. Well, congratulations. That's it. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for being here this evening. Now would be an appropriate time if you want to sneak out to go eat dinner or do homework. We're glad you're here. You're welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, however. But have a great evening if you choose to leave. But again, thank you for being here.
How did you already find out she got candy? Here you go. You gotta say trick or treat now. What are you, camouflage soldier? I saw you out there reading two-handed, and I'm very proud of you. Thank you for coming. That child could eat a lot of candy, couldn't he? So hyper and thin and just...
Yes, don't.
Okay. This is the South Caldwell Band Boosters over here in the corner.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do recognize a couple of them from
I've
Saturday.
never been to a meeting to it. Oh, we have one. Oh. Yeah.
Continue on with the agenda. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and thank you for those of you who are sticking around with us. We do have a couple of items tonight, but before we begin, I would like to do a little bit of information for the board, and that has to do with our great partner, Communities in Schools. I've asked the Executive Director, Debbie Eller, if she will come. You have some information in front of you that she's supplied, and to talk about Communities in Schools. And as she is coming, if anyone is watching this out there, our Communities in Schools does need mentors. It doesn't require a lot of time, but it gives you a great opportunity to interact with young folks in this county, and I'm sure Debbie will echo that, but a great program, one that we're very proud of as part of our complete wraparound of student services for kids. So welcome, Debbie.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Dr. Stone, members of the board, the information you have in front of you has come from the state office, and that's our evaluation from last year. And I compared it with the year before so that you'd have 2 years comparison there. It does need to be evaluated by RTI International before it can actually be published, and I can put it in an annual report, and that hasn't been done yet. So that's why you just have a sheet of paper with that information. So I thought what I'd do is share some of the other things that Communities in Schools does through the course of the year, so you'd have an idea of all of the programs and the outreach that we provide. The reality store is every spring, and it touches about 960 8th grade students. The students go there and they actually purchase their life for a month. They've chosen a career, and it's an excellent program to be a part of, and we'd like to invite all of you to be a part of that on March 21st, 2016 at the Civic Center. Meet the Sharks was a new program that we implemented last year. We had 18 teams that attended and competed, and it was an excellent journey for our local business to see what the CTE students can actually put together. Some of the prototypes from the middle college and the early college were tremendous. So we got a lot of great input from the local business. Our mentor breakfast will be on January 26th, 2016, and we'd love to have you participate in that. And our senior breakfast that we have every year for all of our graduating seniors will be May 24th of 2016. I'm not sure of the location yet. And of course, our big fundraiser is June 3rd. So, and we'd love to have you visit the communities and school sites. I've given you all a schedule of when those classes are in attendance so that you can visit. I've also given you the name of the person that's the site coordinator there, as well as the telephone number. And all of our staff would love to have you come out and be a part of what the kids do in every day. There's also the mentoring time on there in case you'd like to go and be a part of when our community partners are in the school. And as Dr. Stone said, we can always use more mentors, more community partners. They make a great difference in the life of a child. This year we have implemented a new curriculum in the 6th and 7th grade, and we're using planners. We're using a student workbook, and that workbook has hands-on activities, and it's called Middle School Success and Great Grades are the names of the two workbooks that they're working with. The planner activities, organizational skills, and teaching responsibility are all part of the program. We also provide brochures for the families, and those brochures come from Presswood. It's about the program that we've implemented, and it tells the parents how they can be a part of their students' life and how they can help from home to make sure that their students are successful. We also are using Scholastic magazines, Action and Math, Where Math Gets Real. Both of these use current events and their critical thinking. The Action magazine actually focuses on reading and writing and vocabulary. So, and it has an online, both magazines have an online portion of it where the students can go online and do extended activities there. They can also adjust it if the reading level's too hard for them. They can adjust the reading level down a level, or if it's too easy, they can adjust it up a level to make the text more difficult or less difficult. So far, it's been a great success this year, and the principals have really enjoyed seeing that being implemented in the school. We're still working with the entrepreneurial curriculum in 8th and 9th grades. All classrooms have visited the Made in Caldwell display, so every single one of the CIS students has been to see the Made in Caldwell display, and they were given a list of all of the businesses that were a part of that, so they can actually see what the diversity is in our county now and what type of opportunity there is, and help them to understand how much they need to embrace education and they need to embrace the offerings that the school system has to help them to get where they want to be. So we're really excited that they all got to do that. This year, our national office has changed the way we do our total quality standards, and we're now looking at Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 services. And Tier 1 services, if you'll notice, last year we served more families than we did in the previous year. That's because part of the Tier 1 services are serving 75% of the students in the school where there's a CIS program. And those are with what they call a Tier 1 service, which is whole school service. Tier 2 is our case management classroom students. That's just the good old CIS program. And Tier 3 services are our more intense services. That's where our social workers come in, and they're a part of providing those critical needs for families, getting the support that those students that are in crisis need, and just helping to build a healthy atmosphere there. And the last thing I'd like to share with you is that last year we implemented a program called SAVE. SAVE stands for Students Against Violence Everywhere. We started that kind of as a club day within the school, and it's about anti-bullying. It's about not drinking and driving. It's about not texting and driving. It's about making good choices and how to do that. And it's about how you become an advocate or a mediator for the students that are being bullied, or if you are a bullier, how you can get the help you need to stop bullying. So we're really pleased with that. We're using that program in our 9th grade. At High Brighton, she's asked if we can use the 10th graders this year and the 9th graders, because the 10th graders did it last year. They had a great time with the program. So we're working on how we can figure that out to have both grades be able to participate. Does anyone have any questions of me?
Just a comment, Debbie. You know, when you look at the statistics that 99% of the students who go through the CIS program eventually will go on to graduate. You know, obviously we'd like to get to that 100%, but we're, as a district, sitting right at 91. So obviously something you're doing is keeping kids in school. And I do want to encourage the board members or anyone out there watching, all of our high schools and middle schools do have a CIS program, and it's really just about 30 or 40 minutes a week. And they understand sometimes when you can't be there, but it's a great opportunity to interact with young folks. And, you know, us older folks, we think we know it all, but we really know nothing. Trust me. They can tell us a lot, and it's really engaging for them and for us. So if anyone wants to volunteer, we do a criminal background check, but if you would just contact the CIS office. But these are some really great statistics with our CIS program, and very fortunate to have that in Caldwell County. So thank you, Debbie. And
I'd like to mention, too, we have 2 new staff people. We have a new young lady at, she's not a young lady, but we have a new one at Hudson Middle School. Her name is Mindy Galindo, and we have a new one at William Lenore Middle School, and her name is Kelly Bean. So I hope you'll welcome her to the Caldwell Schools family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Debbie. Mr. Chairman, members of the board and audience, I'm moving on to board action. Based on policy 9300, which is the naming of facilities, the Board of Education has the significant role of, and it is a huge deal when you name a facility, and you can name that facility based on 9300 on a number of criteria. It could be a person's name, it could be a location, it could be named after a national person or a local person. There are some conditions of retirement, someone who's retired or someone who may be deceased. Based on Board Policy 9300, based on the public feedback we had at our public hearing earlier, we are making a recommendation, administration's making a recommendation that we name the field at Thus Stadium Mike Biggerstaff Field at Thus Stadium for the name of that field. We have on our online survey, we did receive 2 other recommendation names, Warrior Grid Iron Field and Warrior Valley Field, but we would like to recommend Mike Biggerstaff Field at Thus Stadium based on the public feedback and the support from the community and from the school. I'd like to make a motion that the board approve Mike Biggerstaff Field at Thus Stadium, effective immediately.
I would second the motion.
Oh, I'm not making the motion.
He's making the recommendation.
Making the recommendation.
Okay, that's what I was thinking that was
Mike
unusual, but.
Mike Biggerstaff.
Okay, do I hear a motion from the board that the field at Thus Stadium on the campus of West Caldwell High School be named Mike Biggerstaff Field?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we name the field at West Caldwell High School Mike Biggerstaff Field, effective immediately.
Second.
And there's a second. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll notify West Caldwell, or I think West Caldwell was already notified. And Mr. Poole, when there are activities devoted to a plaque or whatever it is, if you will keep the Board of Education, since they named the field, they'd like to be involved in the unveiling of the plaque and whatever else is planned for that.
Probably do that early next football season.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Poole. And thank you for your leadership in bringing this to the table. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have 2 board policies that were on the table for 30-day comment period. We've received no comment on either one, and so I'd like to take them individually. The first is 4309, Student Code of Conduct. This basically deals with what's prohibited, what we expect of students. We would like to add basically language. We're basically only adding the language that says that we are considering as a part of our smoking and tobacco products e-cigarettes. So we are adding language for e-cigarettes to 4309. We've received no comment from the public about that. I would like to recommend that the board approve the revisions to 4309.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the highlighted revisions to policy number 4309.
Second the motion.
And there's a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes.
All right, while we're still talking about cigarettes and e-cigarettes, we also found in board policy 5026/7250, which is smoking and tobacco products. Again, we've added the language that electronic cigarettes, including vaping devices, hookah pens, and related paraphernalia, all are prohibited in Caldwell County Schools. We have received no public comment. We'd like to recommend approval of that revision to 5026/7250.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the board policy revisions to 5026/7250, smoking and tobacco products? Is there a motion to that effect?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the policy revisions for 5026 and 7250.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. Anything else, Dr. Stone?
No, sir.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Associate Superintendent for Human Resource Services, Dr. Trish Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have 3 items for your attention this evening, beginning with Exhibit 3. Exhibit 3 includes usual and customary personnel items that are presented for information only, requiring no action. Exhibit 4 includes usual and customary personnel items requiring action. I respectfully recommend approval of the items as they have already been presented to you.
Okay, as the board has had opportunity to review this, do I hear a motion that we approve the usual and customary personnel matters?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the usual and customary personnel matters.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the last item for approval this evening by me is Exhibit 5, student transfer request. Since your last board meeting, we had a total of 29 requests for student transfers. Of the 29 requests, 28 meet established criteria. Respectfully recommending approval of the 28. If approved tonight, that brings our total transfer requests for the school year to date to 630. Respectfully recommend approval.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the transfer requests as presented.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
Second. Any comments, questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to turn it over to our Finance Director, Mr. David Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members, and Dr. Stone. Tonight, we finally have a budget. For your approval tonight, we have the budget resolution for the 15-16 fiscal school year. The budget totals $112,789,943.91, and it's in the format as required by the Local Government Commission. It has matching revenues and expenses by fund. We've also received a few charts that are provided for supplemental information only. They're not part of the board action tonight. We'd like to make a couple of points regarding the charts. If you'll look at the first chart, it breaks down the funding source. Our state funds provide $70 million, which is about 62% of our total budget. About 18% of our budget for local funds includes $14.7 million provided by county appropriations, And we're also appropriating fund balance of $4.8 million, which is about $61,000 less than last year. Under purpose, you'll see that 75% of the budget is designed for instructional purposes. This deals directly with classroom interaction. And the bottom portion shows class. 62% of our budget salaries, and 21% is matching employer-paid benefits, which is about 83% of our total budget, and that equates to about $94 million in salaries and benefits. It's my recommendation tonight that we approve the budget resolution as presented in your board packet.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the budget resolution as it's been presented?
I make a motion we approve the budget as for 2015 as has been presented.
That's the budget for
15,
16.
16.
Second.
Okay. And a second? All right. Any questions? Any comments?
Just a real quick one, Mr. Chairman. I know David's been waiting for a long time to get the state budget, and you can see why we depend so much on the state with 62% of our funds coming from the state. So it's always nice when they finish that budget. It's nicer if they finish it on time, but it is always very important to keep an eye on the state, since the vast majority of our funds do flow from the state of North Carolina.
Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, thank you.
Next on the agenda, Dr. Stone, do you have any
Yes,
announcements?
a couple of announcements. Mr. Chairman, you may, and I know this will be in the news topic soon, a frontline page, big headlines on the teacher retention rate. Caldwell County Schools, of the 115 districts in the state of North Carolina, Caldwell County Schools is the 4th best. Our retention rate was 7.52, Trish. I know a lot of that has to do with what goes on in human resources, as that mentoring and that piece of making our new teachers feel welcome. We're very blessed to be next to Appalachian State University, which sends us some phenomenal teachers. But again, something of note, 7.52. The state average is 14%. And so we're extremely pleased with our teacher retention rate. That's probably the best we've ever been, isn't it, Trish? So a lot of hard work, and also in principals, and working with those teachers to make sure they are staying in the county. And I'd like to think it's something too about this is a good place to work. It's a very good county, and with the support of the board. Another item I wanted to mention was I had the opportunity on Saturday, as well as I think Darrell, you were there, and Dottie a little bit later on, to go to Oak Hill, and they had an absolutely wonderful send-off for Will Baker.
White.
I'm sorry, Will White, excuse me. And it was wonderful, and the young man was so appreciative, and I guess he's still at the Great Wolf Lodge celebrating. I hope he'll be back to school. This is the young man with the heart transplant, so very pleased that he will be back in school, I think, after Thanksgiving.
Not after Thanksgiving.
I thought it was around Thanksgiving that he'd be back.
Yeah, that's what
That's
Chris
what
said.
That's
Okay.
what I thought.
Was about
That he'd be back in
grant.
school full-time after.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's going to be back from
Oh, yeah, he'll be back from Wolf Lodge
tomorrow.
probably in a couple of
I
days.
believe.
No, he didn't get a month-long Wolf Lodge, but and again, and kudos to three. What's the program? Three on the
Dream on 3.
Dream on 3, Channel 3. They did a wonderful job. Huge limousine. He gets to yesterday. I guess he got to sit in the car and ride with Dale Earnhardt Jr. So
And attend a race.
So he's a happy young man. We're so glad he's better and will be back in school. I had the privilege last week of representing Caldwell County Schools in the state when we were again recognized for our graduation rate, being one of the top in the state, and certainly the early college for having 100% graduation. But it's becoming old hat. Every year, October 5th or 6th, you have to go to Raleigh so Raleigh can recognize Caldwell County Schools for having a great graduation rate. And again, it's nice to be included in that opportunity to recognize some of the great things going on. When you look where we were about 8 years ago at 68%, almost 91% is quite a feat for our schools. So kudos to them.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. The board recently attended at Alexander Central High School the District 7 meeting, which we have annually. And we always hear from the people with the North Carolina School Boards Association, as well as having a few sessions that we can attend. So I just kind of want to open it up now to anyone on the board, because everyone on the board was able to attend, and we are glad that everybody could go. And just kind of open it up to any comments that you might have on the sessions or the general session that we attended.
Okay, I'll start. That was September 30th. We went to Alexander County, as Darrell said. In the opening comments, they had one statistic that was brought to my attention. We know that Caldwell County Schools is the largest employer in this county. We're not alone. Of the 100 counties, 66 counties are the school is the largest employer. And in 21 counties, they're the second largest employer. So therefore, 87 counties, the school system is either number one or number two employer in that county. So school is a very big business. Another thing I heard was 81 of the 115 superintendents have less than 5 years experience. So you're on the island. The breakout session went to Alexander, hosted by their school. They built a house. We used to do that here. I don't think we do anymore, but Alexander County is only one of 12 schools that still do that. They said they built 12 houses, takes about 2 to 3 years, and 17 classes contribute, such as carpentry, masonry, drafting, and electrical. A week before I went to, I'll add this, I went to the North Carolina High School Athletic Association District 7 meeting in Wilkesboro. Dr. Church was with us. Mike Peak and Jeff Parham from South, Andy Poole and Steve McMasters from West, and David Caldwell and Derek Reese from Highbrighton attended. Big topic is realignment. What they did before was that you split the schools up 25% each. Starting this realignment, it's going to be 20% 1A, 30% 2A, 30% 3A, and 20% 4A. They take all the schools that do not participate in football, pull them out, and then they line them up 20%, 30, 30, 20. Then they slide back in the schools that don't play football, and that's how you get your conferences. They claim there's going to be less travel in 2A and 3A, and also they're going to be split conferences as before. And that's about it. It was a good meeting. I enjoyed listening to them. Hugh Tucker is now the interim commissioner.
Okay. Any other comments in regards to the District 7 meeting on September 30th?
I had the opportunity to present for the North Carolina School Boards Association Action Center, which has been formed a couple years ago in order to serve as an advocate for local school systems in the legislature, because I'm sure, as you all know, we cannot have too many boots on the ground when it comes to keeping the legislator informed about the needs of the school. And so they formed what's a 501c4, which is not under the same restrictions as most nonprofits, which are 501c3s. And that way they have actually hired another legislative advocate. Leanne Winter had been doing it for a number of years and doing an outstanding job, and now Bruce Mildwerf has joined her, and he actually missed the meeting in Alexander County because he'd been in the legislature till 4:15 that morning on the last day, so they finally got through. But they do feel that by having more of a presence in the legislature, that hopefully local school systems needs will be enunciated to the legislature, and that we will have hopefully more power and more influence.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
I sat in the same CTE, well, I call it the CTE session, and the project with them building the house was really interesting. The fact that they tied so many different classroom and hours into it, but they also, the other portion was the lady over the CTE for Alexander County. They have a preschool, kindergarten in the high school that the students come to, or the parents can. They have to apply, but I think a lot of it is school system children that get in there because they're at the school. But they tie their family
Services program.
family services program to it, so they get to come over and help with that program. So it sort of ties the school in. It not only is a means for the parents to come. I mean, it is a paid facility; they have to pay to go to it. But it also gives the students an opportunity to see if that is a field that they want to explore. So it's a good program the way that they've got them. Actually, both of them is tied together to get all the students involved in it. I know that, we here in the county, we've got a great CTE program and get a lot of our students involved.
Anyone else?
One thing mentioned in the general session, the reading camps that have been in place for third graders who need a little catching up as far as reading goes, going to be expanded into first and second grade, and that seems to make a lot of sense to try to catch children younger instead of that extra help in third grade summer.
Yeah. Anyone else? Very good. I think we all learn something when we go to these meetings, and glad that we could all be there and represent Caldwell County. Do I hear a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to personnel matters, and that's under the North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A1.
And the litigation issue too.
So that's another.
Yeah, it's on your new. Does someone have the?
Mr. Chairman, I move we convene the closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and also North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 to discuss personnel and also possible litigation.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second the motion, and also thank Dwayne for driving the van to it for us.
Right.
to Alex.
In the rain.
In the rain. It always is.
It's always in the rain when Dwayne drives.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor of going into closed session, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're going to be in closed session for a few minutes. We do not expect any kind of action to be taken. And if you choose to leave, thank you very much for being here. Drive safely. Have a great evening.
And Libby, if you